It's a real gem of a circuit. I love riding here and would recommend it to anybody.
Received an email that a chap wants a distant coaching session, and it basically comprises of them sending me some footage, some reasonably good footage. The better the footage, the better the result at the end of the day. Most people run cameras on the bikes nowadays. From my perspective, it's ideal if it's mounted in the fairing or on the top yoke, so you can see the tacho, and that for me is an extra form of data that I can use. Ideally reasonable sound also, so I can pick up the throttle, the on-off throttle, where he's coming on the throttle, how much throttle he's got into, that sort of thing. The best way really to send the footage is via WeTransfer. That's the most compact and easy way to do it. I send my WeTransfer address and they send me the footage. Boom. I've downloaded Martin's footage. Mav's riding really well, but there's a few little things. I've made some notes on, and we're going to look at the turn one. Okay, Martin, thank you for sending your video. I've been having a good look at several laps. I picked this lap in particular because I think it's a good combination of rights and wrongs.
Stay out a little closer out to the edge of the track here. So literally utilize the edge of that line there as a defined tipping point. So the tipping is done there, and then you create like a radius into the corner, as opposed to that sort of from where we are now, that kind of straight line and then a second tipping. So that at that point then, we don't create a slow point too early in the corner. Our slow point wants to be really more or less halfway around the corner. What I've noticed about your riding is at this second sort of tipping point, which is just where the curb starts, you're basically losing too much speed to make that sort of, you've tightened that corner up that little bit there. So stay out closer to the white line, utilize just before the end of the curb. You can't go much beyond that because you're physically going to miss the apex completely at that point. So you've got to get on with it. So you're much more of a determined commit to the tipping at the end of that line there, as opposed to what you're doing now. You've already, looking at the angle of your bike, you've already started like a long early tipping. So your trajectory is basically going to take you down that line instead of being out there and then creating a big radius into the corner. That gives you really good entry speed, which means as you're passing this point where you kind of have to slow up and get that turn tightened up, you can carry more pace at that point. And what that actually does is it allows you to move your whole braking slightly closer to the corner, because your slow point is here. So if we can create the slow point slightly further around the corner, that means at that earlier point, you can physically be traveling faster, which allows you to move your braking, everything slightly deeper into the corner. So good drive. You could hear the motor warp and driving out of the corner. But more or less from where we start our drive now, if we just do a quick eyeball to where the next apex is about there, just about halfway around, effectively turn 4. Now from here, what I've noticed, because of your drive, the bike under acceleration is basically going to try and go that way. You manage to get some of the turn done, but essentially you take the bike out, so you're sort of half to 3/4 out on the track. Now that obviously, if you drive straight towards the curb at that point, it then tightens turn 4 up completely. So even though you get the drive out, which is great, what I would suggest to do is try to get some drive out, but focus a little bit more on bringing the bike a little bit more to the left side of middle. Rapid change of direction, and that instantly transforms the corner. So if you can get the bike slightly more to this side of the track while you're doing that drive, if possible, and then roughly halfway between where we are now and the apex of the corner, roughly halfway, quick change of direction, but maintain our position in track. And let's just get rid of all them lines and move up the track a little bit. Not a huge amount wrong with what you're doing there. And the R1 has got tremendous traction control and anti-slide parts. It's a really good bike for this example. And utilising the torque, the low down torque of the bike to sort of torque the bike onto the straight, and the last part as it's sitting up, then go into real horsepower mode and let the brake horsepower take over. But here it's all about finding that grip and getting the bike slightly more sat up Well, I hope you enjoyed that, Mav. There's plenty to chew on, plenty to do. The little nuggets of information about bike placement, getting your bike in the right point of the track. So it's about opening and radius up, and allows you to keep that higher momentum speed past the apexes, which, because of the nature of Almere, the bike seems to be on its side all the time. It's not like a straight right, straight left. It's not corner straight. It's one corner leading almost immediately into another. So it's about building that flow up, getting the rhythm going, but maximizing what you can do on the track available. Let me know what you think.
And what I've given you are some solutions which I'm sure will be able to help you move forward with your riding.